Hey guys, Paul.
Hi, Paul!
It is New Comic Book Day for the week of September 16th.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Nobody cares what day it is.
This episode brought to you by shirts.
Shirts!
Because you need one for service.
Whoa.
That and a face mask, which you can actually now get on our page. So grab one of those too.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Capes and Scales on the comic book store. How are you? You doing good? They might be good, Paul. I can't hear them. Anyways, let's talk about trades. We got trades. I've got The Old Guard, Book 2. This is the second miniseries. It
just came out.
Yeah, this came out pretty quickly. Good timing with that movie on Netflix, huh? We've got Terry Moore's 5 Years Omnibus. This is the 2 trades worth in one. Terry Moore, good dude. We got Hawkman, Darkness Within. This is Hawkman Volume 3. This whole run has been super good, and I just read it on a whim. It's great. We have Batman, Curse of the White Knight, hardcover. This is the sequel series just coming out. We've got...
Part of it was okay.
Paul says it's okay. We've got Joker, Killer Smile. We got a big old Joker hardcover magazine-y thing. And then Shannon Wheeler, he loves his political stuff. We've got the Mueller Report. Because we need the Mueller Report. I'm not depressed enough as it is. Let's talk politics. No, it's probably awesome. Anyways, books.
All right, first up we have Iron Man issue number 1. I'm not really sure where this takes place. I have to assume it's taking place after the events of Empire, because this is basically Tony Stark selling off everything he has, just taking all that money, moving away from the LA lifestyle and moving back to New York, and basically trying to kind of restart his life and find out who he is again. With as low tech as possible. So he's running around in a vintage Iron Man suit, hanging out with Patsy Walker, and just having a good time. It was a really interesting story though, because I wasn't expecting it. You're not expecting a low tech Tony driving around in a vintage muscle car instead of a Tesla or a some other type of very high-tech or very fancy car. So
Paul only knows 2 cars.
You know, way more than 2 cars.
There's not enough evidence of that.
So yeah, it's a really interesting story. The art is fantastic, and it's great writing. So if you're looking for an offbeat Iron Man story, this is definitely something to check out. And it definitely leads into a much larger arc, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, shut up, Paul. First up, shut up.
I can't shut up.
It's just really bad. Anyway, all 3 of my books were awesome this week, so you know, somebody's got to be at the bottom. It might as well be the X-Men book. What? I read an X-Men book, Marvel Snapshots X-Men. This story is actually pretty awesome. It has fun with timelines in the sense that it's about a young Scott Summers who is having real bad headaches. He's starting to develop his powers, and he's fixated on the arrival of the Fantastic Four. So it's him being, I don't know what time frame this is supposed to be. It's kind of fun. Like, oh, the Fantastic Four showed up. Oh, Spider-Man showed up. All these heroes are showing up. And he's starting to develop his powers. So that's really all this is about, is him learning how to be a good tactician and just work around all these things that are in his life, making things difficult. It's just loud cars. It's just a very good story. It's a very good Cyclops story, and it's a little slice of lifey at the same time. Who knew? But yeah, it's a pretty decent story, so check it out.
Next up, we have Once and Future, issue number 11. What? This is my second book? There's a book that beat this out as the pick of the week? Yeah. But not by much, because I love this book. Absolutely love this book. Dealing with Grams, and she is trying to kill Grendel. And, oh, things just go so bad. This is actually a surprisingly bloody issue. So much blood in this issue. Like, they ran out of red ink, like, a lot. Dan Moore put a lot of red ink in this because it's just so good. But, I mean, I love this book. Things have just been going from bad to worse. So, what comes after Grendel? If you've read books, if you read poetry, you kind of know where this is going and how much worse it's going to end up for people, considering that they killed Beowulf like 3 or 4 issues ago, and he's the one that usually kills all of these monsters. And now he's nowhere to be found. And yeah, it's just going to get really bad. But still, I love it. But not quite my pick of the week.
Next up, we have Detective Comics, number 1027. Whoa. 1027.
Oh, but technically 1,000. Okay, I get it.
It's the 1,000th appearance of Batman in Detective Comics is what it is. Loosely that. I'm sure there's one issue where he doesn't. Don't hit me in the comments. I don't care. So, this story, I know there's a lot with Batwoman in the... I know! Shut up. Just yelling. Now I'm really coming unglued, Paul. I'm not even looking at the camera. I'm going to look at you. So this book...
Don't do that.
This book is massive. It's a $10 book. It's massive. It's like a trade. It took me forever to read, especially as Paul kept talking about his books. He's like, my books are so good.
I really did not do that this week.
He really did. He was like, they're so good. He leans back like that. It's strange. This book, it's hard for me to say which story I like the best, but there's a lot of really cool stories. Tom King, Scott Snyder, Marv Wolfman, just so many cool people. There was a great story that was in honor of Denny O'Neil, and just a really solid book. All kinds of stories, some stuff that is relevant to what's going on now, a lot of stories talking about villains of the past, some fun Joker stories. There's a very good detective-y themed story where all of the Bat family shows up on a roof investigating the same murder. Just very interesting stories and well thought out, and you don't have to know a lot to read this. It was good. It is worth $10 for sure. It's just hard for a guy trying to review this in the middle of the night to read it. And Paul's all like, I love my books. They're so good. They're so good.
I don't do that other week.
All the
I'm just
time.
saying I did not do it this week.
That's a lie, because he did do it.
Once.
Ah!
I did not do it for all my books.
Ah!
I'm saying I do that in every other week for all the books. This week I only did one.
It's a good book. Just read it. You're going to buy it anyways. Just do it. I'm not going to throw the book. I know you don't like that.
What could my pick of the week be? It is actually Immortal Hulk issue number 0. From what I can understand about the Immortal Hulk, the leader is back. And the leader is back, if my assumptions are correct by reading this, because I have not read any of the Immortal Hulk stuff. If the leader is back as the ghost of Bruce's father, then this is where all this comes from. And the art, I have to point it out, and I usually don't point out the art too terribly much, but the art is just absolutely beautifully done. But this is a kind of a prequel story, kind of how Bruce's anger and all that thing came from, and both his anger and his fear towards his father. And that's why once you go back into his childhood, you get this like vintage 60s style artwork, and it really does lend itself to learning how the story goes and everything like that. And then it switches back, and then we get from the Hulk's perspective what's going on, and you get this really cool 90s style art. I tried to make sure I flip the pages that don't give away too much of the storyline, but you really do get an idea of why Bruce just despises his father, and why this is such a shakeup for him, despite being the Hulk and the Immortal Hulk. And it's just so brilliantly done. It's a hefty read. There's a lot of reading in this, because it's not just written in that 60s style feel, but the 60s and 70s and 80s, they really wrote a lot. Like, comic books were not a 15-minute one and done kind of thing. They're a half hour or longer. And this book is already pretty thick. So, yeah, you're going to be sitting down and reading this for a while. But the reading is still fast-paced. It is beautifully done. Al Ewing and Peter David do amazing jobs in their 2 stories, even though they're both stories and they lead into each other. So it's not 2 separate stories going on. I can't say good enough things about it. Pick it up.
Paul, you ready? You know what it is.
I don't.
Because I said I want to read it.
Oh, okay. So I do know.
You do know. Paul wanted to read it, but then I was like, no, I want to read it. And I had like a hissy fit.
You didn't. It was literally just, oh, I kind of wanted to read that. And I was like, all right, here you go.
That's a pretty much a hissy fit for me.
I'm not a jerk.
Well, anyways, the book is Stillwater. This is by Chip Zdarsky over on Skybound this time. I really, really love Zdarsky. You know, he was always the funny guy, and now, even though he's still really funny, he's doing serious work, as demonstrated on his Daredevil run, which is phenomenal. This is a story of a guy who has really no good luck. He ends up getting fired, getting into fistfights. He's not seeking them out, but he sure does find them. And he mysteriously finds out he's inheriting something from a long-lost dead relative. He doesn't have his mother and father alive. He can't really talk to anybody about it. He's like, I guess I go. And he goes to this weird town of Stillwater, and very strange things happen. I don't want to give them away. Just know this is a very dark, cool Zdarsky book, and I am pumped to see what he does going forward. And there's a very funny thing at the end where he and the artist, Ramon Perez, where they talk about, they answer Q&A, and they even tell you how to pitch this to your friends. It's pretty much taken. It's pretty good. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a weird Zdarsky book, but, you know, the creepy weird, not the silly weird. They're both good, though. Alright, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Even if you skipped around, I won't grill you too hard about how you got here. Nothing really to plug. Paul's doing Paul things. I'm doing Tim things. There's not much to talk about this week.
No, not really.
I'm not going to bog you down with plugs. Who wants to plug anyways, right? But, like, I just want to talk about some books. I'm not even listening to you anymore. I'm actually running my computer right now to turn you off. And I understand. You shouldn't run. Anyways, that's it. Check us out next week. We'll be here. We'll be here, Paul.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
No, Paul.
It was the Detective Comics thing. I was trying to bring it back to the center. Don't look at me with that disappointment look. I don't want that. I already feel that today.
You're batting 1,000 today.
I know I am. I can't stop.
I don't want to relive it. Goodbye, everybody.